the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
All right, everybody, what a day, what a day. Welcome to the Golf Dudes Podcast. Joe Calabro here. Hope you're all having a great week, and hope you're all having a great Thursday. I'm straight from the Rhode Island Junior Amateur down at Ledgemont. Two great matches today, actually a couple of great matches. There were other divisions, obviously, on the boys' side, but great championship division matches on the girls and the boys, so we'll get into some of that. Obviously, we're going to get into some of the video we got from earlier this week involving Faxon, and then obviously the Andrade and Faxon. So that was some great stuff. So we'll actually replay those for you and give us some breakdown of it as well. So lots to get to. This is the Golf Dudes Podcast, and I guess we're going to start with, because I just came from here. He just came from there at the time of this recording, the Rhode Island Junior Amateur down at Ledgemont. The first couple rounds were at Winnipeg, then they switched over to Ledgemont. So that's how we got there. The girls' division was a great match between Kylie Eaton and Olivia Williams. I believe this is the third straight year they've met in the Junior Amateur. So I think Kylie beat Olivia 2 years ago. Olivia beat Kylie last year, and then again this year. But this year, Olivia won on 18. So it was a tremendous match. I think Olivia was 2 up at one point. Kylie came back. Olivia was 1 up on 16. Kylie won 16 and go to 17 even. They have 17, and then Olivia won on 18. So a great match for her. And now both of them will get ready for, obviously, the Women's Amateur next week at Kirkbride Country Club. And we do have some sound from Olivia after the round. I don't know how great it came out. She's a very low talker, very quiet talker. So I'm not sure how well it came out, but we'll hit that right now. Here's Olivia Williams after the round.
All right, talk about winning on 18 today, your second straight junior amateur championship.
It was a really tough match against Kylie. She played good. Yeah.
You've been playing good all year. What does this win do for you as a launching pad for next week?
It makes me want to practice more and keep playing the way I've been playing.
All right, so thanks to Aaliyah for doing that interview. And again, we'll see the girls next week at Kirkbride Country Club for the Women's Amateur. Kylie, of course, is the defending champion, and so that should be really interesting. Again, they played a great match today. Kylie's been playing really well. Adriana played really well, and Lily Dust is somebody to watch out for going into that tournament. Excuse me. On the boys' side was a thrilling match. Max Jackson and Sebastian Carlson, obviously Seb, just won the high school state championship earlier this year. Max is a 2-time defending champion, or came in as a 2-time defending champion of the junior amateur. And this was an interesting match. Sebastian took a 2-up lead early. Max came back. Max actually took a 3-up lead late with, I think, 4 holes to go, and then kind of went wayward with his driver a little bit. Hit some strange shots that you're not used to seeing him hit, and Sebastian hung in there. They ended up coming back and tying it. So then they had to go to extra holes. Both players had the first extra hole. Sebastian made an unbelievable up and down for par, and Max had a tough, I'll call it a 2 or 3 footer for par to have. So he made that. This up and down by Sebastian was incredible for sure. Then on the second playoff hole, Max hit his second shot out of the rough, just past the flag, and he drained like a 15-foot, 10-foot birdie putt. You'll see it in the clip. Drained like a 10-foot birdie putt to win it. Sebastian had a chance to match him. His just missed. So Max gets 3 in a row. Not exactly how he drew it up, which I joke with him about in the post game, but he gets his 3rd straight junior amateur championship. Both of those players will be off to the Northern Junior up in New Hampshire next week, or the end of next week anyway. So you'll see them there. But it was two great matches, and also congrats to the other division winners, AJ Colonna and Gavin Walsh. They won the first division and the 14 and under division respectively. With that said, let's hear from Max Jackson with me after the round.
Just talk about that match and hanging on at the end and winning it, obviously in epic fashion, and the second playoff hole.
Yeah, I was playing pretty good through 14 holes, and then started making mistakes coming in. And Seb's a good player. He's going to capitalize on those mistakes. So just like that, we're even through 18, but had some good shots in the playoff holes and just hit them when they mattered. So pretty happy about that. And just keep moving forward.
That birdie putt on the second playoff hole, did you feel like you had to make that?
Seb had a uphill right to lefter, and as a righty, those are the putts you like, so I knew he was going to give it a good run. Putt I had was so fast, and it was a left to righter, and I didn't really expect to make it, but I fell dead center and ended up in the
What does it mean to you to win 3 in a row now? You're, like Bob Wood said, the only person to do it is Brad Valoy. But what does it mean to you to win three junior Ams in a row here?
Yeah, had a bit of a sour taste in my mouth after the state championship. Really didn't challenge Seb at all. He played really good, 5 under. It's really tough to beat. So really wanted to get this one, keep the 4 in a row alive for this tournament. So I played some solid golf, Lake Low Oil coming in, but ultimately it was good enough in the playoff to get 3 in a row.
What's next for you?
I have Northern Junior in Connecticut on Monday, and then I think a week after that we have the Northern Junior as a team.
All right, that was Max Jackson with me after the round. He won his 3rd straight junior amateur. It's been a tough stretch for him as far as winning goes. Obviously, didn't win the high school state championship. He made a nice run in the Rhode Island Amateur, but obviously it didn't end how he wanted. He got blown out by Harry Dessel, so it was good to see him bounce back and get this one. Again, he struggled down the stretch. I know he's working on a few things with his swing and a few things with his game, so perhaps that was the reason. But struggled down the stretch, made it more exciting than he probably wanted it to be. But it ended up being a tremendous match, and it had a tremendous finish, which obviously, being in the media, is good for me. So I'm not going to complain there. So that was today at Ledgemont Thursday. So congrats to all the winners, and we'll see what the tournament looks like next year. Next year will be Max's final junior amateur, and we'll see if he can get to 4 in a row. But that's for next year's concern. So obviously, the big story of the week on GolfNewsRI.com is we caught up with Brad Faxon and Billy Andrade this week. They were at Buttonhole for a celebration of Buttonhole. And I decided to take a ride down there. So I saw it on Brad Faxon's Instagram post. I decided to take a ride down there and see what I could see. And they're getting great interviews with both of them. They talk about the U.S. Senior Open in Newport, and everything else. But obviously, the lead story was talking to Brad. I asked him about the Metacomet situation, which he has yet to speak publicly on that I have seen. And I've looked. I watch all the interviews, I read all the articles, so that was big. So and that did obviously a lot of comments. People have thoughts on everything, and so let's play that here, and then I'll come back and provide some analysis, if you will. So here's Brad Faxon when I asked him about the Metacomet situation.
You know, we're still in an ongoing lawsuit, so it's hard to say anything substantial. I'm disappointed in the entire situation of what happened. I feel for all the people that were members there, and for the neighbors, and whatever that's raised. I certainly didn't get involved with that to sell it, but there were extenuating situations and circumstances that we didn't know about, and I can't talk about it.
Next year.
Right, and 9-hole golf courses
that's exciting.
Important now. It's a way to reduce costs. It doesn't take as long to do it.
Right.
So, yeah, I know about that. And I think that's great.
Thank you.
All right, so one for me, you have to ask that question, right? As a reporter, I would get killed, and I said this on Facebook. I would get killed if I didn't ask him that question. If I interviewed him and didn't ask him that question, it's still a thing going on in the state. It's still a big topic of discussion amongst golf people, and the future of it is still a big topic. Obviously, the 9-hole course Met Links is set to open next year. I did ask Brad about that as well, as you saw, and he knew about it. I don't know if he knew about it, through us or just through, his people, but he knew about it, and he was excited for the 9-hole course to open in 2024. So, he had to ask the question. I told him straight up prior to the asking the question. I said, look, I have to ask you. It's a big thing here in the state. I told them, I said, you're kind of getting killed for it a little bit in Rhode Island, maybe not even a little bit, maybe a lot. So had to ask the question. I do appreciate that he gave me an answer. He certainly could have said no comment. Obviously, there's legal situations going on with him and with the group and whatever else it may be. So I appreciate that he gave me a comment. People were bashing him still, saying he lied or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the situation. I know enough about the legal stuff to know exactly what happened. I just appreciate that he gave me a comment. It seemed like he put some thought into it, so he took a minute to answer. He said that they're in a legal situation, so he can't give me anything too crazy. So I'm happy he answered, gave me an answer, gave something. So whatever people want to think of it, that's fine. I don't know enough about the process. I'm assuming we're going to find all this out in the coming months, weeks, years, whatever it may be. I don't know how long it's going to take. Whatever it may be, we'll have definitive answers on everything because I still think it's a big story. Golf news anyway. Just as far as what happened, why it happened the way it did, and everything like that. Now he hinted at things that they had to sell it because there were problems that they didn't realize that were wrong with it. So I'm not sure what that would be. We've had people banter about it on the interweb, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know what the analysis is, but I thought he put a lot of effort into his answer. He thought he took it seriously, and he answered seriously, and that's all you can ask from me, from my perspective. So it was interesting. I had to ask him the question. Sometimes you have to ask tough questions. It's not fun. It's not like I look forward to asking him that necessarily. But and he answered, and he could have easily said no comment. And I was going to press him on it. I mean, he was at an event for the practice facility there in Providence. So I wasn't gonna be a jackass. But he gave an answer. I followed up with the 9-hole thing, and he was happy that that's happening. He thinks it's great for state, great for golf. As I'm taping this podcast, it seems like the storm is a storm brewing. So hopefully we get this in. Anyway, so that's my analysis of it. Obviously, you all have your thoughts. You've let them be known on social media, which is great, and we'll see what comes with down the road. But I know a lot of people are still mad about this, and so at least he gave some sort of answer. So you got to give him that, give him credit for answering the question. Anyway, as much as he could. Again, there's legal circumstances going on, so that's that. The other thing, obviously, I did a second video the next day with Brad Faxon and Billy Andrade, and that was great. They talked about the development of Buttonhole. They talked about pro golf in Rhode Island and how it's growing. Obviously, I asked them about the Senior Open next year at Newport, and I even asked, Brad said he might even try to play. Billy has to qualify, but he's hoping to not have to qualify. So that was also a great topic too. That's why they were obviously there. Billy Andrade was happy to see me for what I was worth. He reminded me that he was one of our first guests on the podcast, which he was back in 2020. I think it was May of 2020. He wasn't our first guest, but he was certainly among the first guests. He was our first big guest, I would say, big name guest on the podcast for sure, I believe. Anyway, so here is the package we put together with Brad and Billy, talking about a variety of things. It's great insight, interesting stuff. And so here you go.
I remember when we first came, this was a landfill. You know, we met in a tent, and we just talked about, like, you know, if you build it, you know, the kids will come. And to see after all these decades later that, you know, the kids have come, and, you know, to see a woman like Megan Kang to come through here and to see what she's done on the LPGA Tour. It was an opportunity of being able to go to Buttonhole and practice and hone her game. And without Buttonhole, maybe she might not have made it. So,
you know, it's amazing when you look back at when this thing was first starting to go under construction, and you came out here and saw this property and what wasn't here, right? And you go, man, how does Eddie Morrow has this dream? And then the evolution of what it's become now, the amount of kids that have come here, not just kids, but adults, it's kind of been the home for practice and, you know, just the development of kids. I just like everything about it, you know. I had the same opportunity when I got out of college, but I keep saying, you know, if I had never seen Dana Quigley, who played professionally and played on the PGA Tour, I don't know if I would have thought that it was possible to be from Rhode Island and play professional golf. And, you know, Billy was right behind me, Brett Quigley was behind him. We had the Adamoneses, the Horgans, the Halletts. You know, it's been a pretty cool story, and now to consider it, all the kids like you mentioned, Davis Chatfield, I've played with him, watched him play. It's impressive, you know, and you're proud of it, right? From the state you're from, and I don't know. If we can keep leaving great legacy, we've done our job.
Still really enjoying myself. I still got game. I still can. I'm knocking to have a chance to win here one of these weeks if I can make a few putts. Brett's played great all year. He's had a great year this year, and to see the young players do so well. You know, I'm a big fan. I think, you know, you got a place like Rhode Island, and you know what makes this place so unique. We have so many great golf courses, and Donald Ross's influence, and if you miss a green, you got to get it up and down, and you got to be a good putter if you want to make it on the tour and become a world-class player. And I think just playing all these golf courses around Rhode Island does that for you. You know, Faxon and I never hit the ball very good when we were younger, but we could get the ball in the hole, and that's what you got to do at the highest level. So I love seeing the young kids doing well, and I wish them well. And
Exempt into the U.S. Open next year. I'll be there anyway, because I'm a member of the club. I work for NBC. They televise it. I'd like to qualify, play, and announce. I think that'd be a great triumvirate if I could do all that.
I hope so. You know, I think that you know, we got great fans here in Rhode Island that love golf. To be able to get up close and see all the legends of the game. Bernhard Langer is our defending champion. He just won the U.S. Open this year for his 46th, breaking Hale Irwin's record. So it's just going to be a heck of a week on a place that is one of the greatest golf courses in the world. You know, it's where the first U.S. Open was held in 1895, and to see us coming back and doing this, and hats off to the USGA and to Newport Country Club for bringing it back. You know, we were supposed to have it during the pandemic in 2020, it got canceled, so to have it come back in 24, and you know, you never know, maybe a Rhode Islander might win it.
All right, welcome back to the Golf News Podcast here. Just me today. As I do this again, the storm is seemingly picking up, so this will be interesting. So we did all the Brad Faxon stuff, so obviously I'm sure people will comment what their thoughts, but again, my recurring thought was, or is, that, you know, he gave a serious answer. He thought about it. And that's all you can ask. So I'm happy to answer the question. You know, and didn't just say no comment. So there's that. The insight Faxon and Andrade gave on Ryan golf was fascinating. You know, I joked with Billy. It's not in the clip, but I joked with Billy. You know, I got to try to qualify for the Senior Open because he's got to qualify just like he did this past year. And he's like, no, I'm not I don't want to qualify. I got to get in on points or whatever. So he's got to get into the top. I believe he said the top 36 on the Champions Tour to get it to automatically qualify for the U.S. Senior Open next year in Newport. So that'll be interesting to watch, obviously. But he was laughing. He said, "I want to be 60. I don't want to qualify." So it was pretty funny. It's cool to talk to them and thank them both for doing the interviews, and obviously thank Billy especially for his support and everything of GolfNewsRI. A handful of other things to get to quickly. Obviously, Corn Ferry Tour in action this week out in Chicago. You can watch that. Not to plug another media outlet, but you can watch that on Barstool Sports. Good luck to them broadcasting their first event. So that's pretty cool. So good luck to Davis and Patrick, both out there in Chicago. Chris Francourt up in Canada, of course, still grinding away. And then locally, on a very local level, we've had a couple hole-in-ones, so congrats to them. People have said to me that there's not as many as last year. I'm not sure. I mean, it could be. I haven't counted. Not as many as this time last year as they were. So that's possible. I haven't counted, but it seems like they're picking up. We've put a number of hole-in-one stories up just over the last 5 days. It feels like. I mean, the numbers are picking up. Maybe the greenskeepers are putting in harder pin positions or whatever it might be. So be interesting to track. It will be interesting to compare hole-in-ones last year to this year. Obviously, we do our best to track them. I'm sure we didn't have every single one last year. I'm sure there's ones we missed, and the same will be true this year. But at least it gives people, a general idea of how many hole-in-ones there were. I'm sure it's got to be close anyway. So it'll be interesting to see. People have brought that up to me. That doesn't seem like there's as many this year so far as there were last year. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do a study. Also, shout out to the Kirkbride 4-Day. That's ongoing. I caddied yesterday, as many of you saw on social media. It really wasn't caddying as much as it was just kind of hanging out and watching where the balls go. I really didn't do much else, to be honest with you, but it's always fun to go back and caddy and see everybody. The reason why you go back and caddy, or why I go back and caddy for the 4-Day, at least in a part-time role. Obviously I did not caddy today, Thursday. It's just, you see the guests. A lot of these guys bring the same guests over and over again every year, and they've been coming for years and years and years, and so a lot of times it's the only time you get to see them. Now with doing this, I see people a little bit more, but still. So that's the fun of it for me. And hopefully my dad and his partner are winning. And then we'll see if we can. We've never won a 4-Day before, so we'll see if we can get that done this weekend. The final round is on Saturday. Obviously, they had matches today. I imagine that they got them in, and then matches on Friday, and then obviously the championship on Saturday. So good luck to everybody in the Kirkbride 4-Day. Hello to everybody at the Kirkbride 4-Day for those that are watching. And we'll be at Kirkbride all next week for the Women's Amateur, which I'm excited about. And it should be a great field. Olivia's playing great. Kylie's playing great. Adriana's playing great. Obviously, they will have the home field advantage, if you will, although it hasn't necessarily panned out over the last handful of championships, men's and women's. It hasn't really worked out that way. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they set the course up. Somebody asked me that today. And I'm sure it's going to be similar to last year at Wyoming Autonomy. I know it's not the same course. It's not going to be exact. But I'm sure the distance is going to be similar, relatively similar, or pretty close. Anyways, so that'll be fun to watch. But we're really looking forward to that next week. We'll have obviously content throughout the week. I'm looking forward to a home game for myself. Everyone's talking about how it's a home game for Kylie and Adriana, which it is. But it's a home game for me too. I can roll out of bed and walk down the street. Not really walk, but You get the point. So looking forward to that. Hope to see people out there. I hope to see Kirkbride people out there supporting the girls, and hopefully just people out there in general following the tournament, supporting the tournament, and everything else. Kirkbride is in pristine condition, as you would expect, and the clubhouse is getting better. Obviously, not quite there yet, obviously, but it's getting better. So that's that. So lots going on. Check out the story about Toby Harback if you haven't already. If you want to read a story about that involves Jack Nicklaus and Gary Nicklaus and Greg Norman and Charlie Woods, that is for you. It is downpouring out. Holy cow. All right. So yeah, so check out that story. Really cool interview. What a cool guy. And who knows? The Benjamin School may be coming up here to play next high school golf season. We'll see. I've already had one discussion anyway, briefly. But maybe they want to play, and we'll see what happens. That'd be cool. If Charlie Woods is on the team, that would be really something. That would really be something. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully, I can get this podcast edited and everything before we lose power or something, because it is brutal out. Yikes. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will talk to you throughout the weekend on GolfNewsRI.com, and then obviously next week is the Women's Amateur. So we'll talk to you from there. I'm Joe Calabro. This is the Golf Dudes Podcast. Bye.